Okay, good morning everyone. I am
Good
Pratiksha
morning.
from Tank Road, MPS Secondary School, Bandu. We have been learning the lesson life processes in living organisms, and yesterday we have seen about the types of nerve cells, human nervous system. So what we have learned till. So let us quickly recap before going ahead. Transportation in plants. So what is transportation? We know that the process of transportation means a substance either synthesized or absorbed in one part of the body reaches to another part of the body. It's called as transportation. We know that how transportation takes place every day. We are going to school, right? From home to school, we are going by a means of transport, right? Bicycle, auto rickshaw, train, or any bus. All these are the means of transportation. So these are required for transporting us to from one place to another. Likewise, in the plants also, transportation process helps in which something is synthesized or absorbed in one part to reaches to another part. Okay, so most animals move from place to place, but plants do not move. So there are many dead cells in the plant body. So they need less energy as compared to animals. Plants need inorganic substances like nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, manganese, sodium, etc. Soil is the nearest and richest source of these substances. And the roots of the plants absorb these substances from the soil and transport them to each and every part of the plant. So there are specific type of tissues to perform this function, which are called as xylem and phloem, which are also called as conducting tissues. So xylem conducts the water from roots to each and every part of the plant, and phloem conducts the food from leaf to each and every part of the plant. So likewise, it happens. So transportation takes place likewise. So we have also learned about excretion. How excretion? What is excretion? So many harmful waste substances are there in the bodies. In the when the living organisms life processes body systems are takes place. So, so many things, extra material, toxic things produced like urea, uric acid, ammonia. So, if these substances accumulate in the body or retain in the body for a long time, so what will happen? It can lead to serious harm or even death. A person can die. So, hence it is necessary to remove all such harmful and waste substance from the body. So, different organisms have different methods to do these things. So removal of waste substances or harmful substances from the body is called as excretion. In unicellular organism, waste materials are directly eliminated across the cell, and the surface where the process of excretion is in multicellular is little bit complex. So they do not have specialized organs to remove unicellular organisms. Okay, so they directly remove waste from the body surface. So if these things are retained in the body, what will happen? Then what will happen? We fall ill. So like cholera, dysentery, such types of diseases will occur inside our body. So now excretion in plants, how plants excrete these toxic materials from the body. Excretion is much simpler process in plants than in animals. So there is no special organ or system for excretion in the plant. So gaseous substances are given out by diffusion. What do you mean by diffusion? It means that movement of anything from higher concentration level to lower concentration level is called as diffusion. So by diffusion, these gaseous substances are given out. So most of the waste substances of plants are stored in vacuoles of the leaves and in flowers, in fruits and bark of the stem. So after some time, these parts fall off. We know that now in autumn season, all the leaves fall down. Why? Because it gets full of this toxic substance, and at that time it gets fall. So like flowers, when it gets mature or prepare, ripen, then fruits, all these things, and so mature flowers, ripened fruits, and the bark of the stem, all these get fall off. So likewise, they excrete these things from their body. So human being excretion is little bit complex. So they have, see, plants do not have any special type of excretory system in their body, but animals do. Okay, so human beings, there are different systems in human body to bring about the different life processes, such as digestive system for digestion of food, respiratory system for respiration. So the process of digestion leading to energy production is an important process of our body. So various waste materials are formed during the process, and the removal of these waste from the body is very important, and it is the excretory system that carries out the function. The human excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, the urinary bladder, and the urethra. So urine is formed by the kidneys by separating the waste and unwanted excess substances from the blood. So we know that all about this excretion, how it takes place. Okay. So if the efficiency of kidneys can adversely affected by injury, infection, or decreased blood supply, in that case, what will happen? An excess of toxic substances accumulates in the body and it can lead to death. So if kidneys fail, nitrogenous waste is separated from the blood with the help of some one man-made machine. So that is called as dialyzer. So dialysis machine, and the process of separating this nitrogen waste from the blood with the help of this machine is called as dialysis. So about 500 milliliter of blood is sent at one time through this machine, and the purified blood is reinfused in the body of the patient. So likewise, dialysis happens. We have already also learned about coordination in plants, how plants get coordinated. Okay, it requires, so coordination in plants is much important because they do not have any type of systems like nervous system, muscular system like animals. So we have learned about few growth relevant movements also. Tropic movement, in which what will happen, any part of the plant is response to an external stimulus is called as tropic movement.
कुछ मानता मत लेता है फिर उसकी माता सेट भी नहीं मगो नहीं मानता मत लिखता रहे उसे
In that plant's response to light stimulus, that is, it grows towards the source of light. Then gravitotropic movement, in which the root system responds to stimuli towards the gravity. Hydrotropic, in which it responds towards the water. Then chemotropic, it responds to specific chemicals. So all these are growth relevant movements. Now we have also seen about the coordination in human being, how it coordinated. So different process go on simultaneously in human body. So all this process needs to be efficiently and effectively controlled and coordinated. And this is done with the help of two systems: nervous control and chemical bond. So nervous control, in that humans can respond to change in their surroundings due to nervous control. So impulses which are generated in the human body in accordance with changes in the surrounding. Nervous control plays an important role of empowering the body cells with the ability to respond these impulses. So the ability depends upon the complexity of organization in the organism's body structure. Unicellular animals like amoeba do not have a nervous system, so which produces such impulse and responses. However, the multicellular animals like humans have the nervous system. Okay? Control and coordination is brought about with the help of special type of cells called as nerve cells. Okay, so neurons, which are called as neurons, special types of cells which conduct impulse from one place to another in the body are called as neurons. And the neurons are structural and functional unit of nervous system. So nerve cell is the largest cell in the human body, may measure up to few meters in length. So nerve cells have the ability to generate and conduct electrochemical impulses. The cells that support the nerve cells and help in their functioning are called neuroglia. So nerve cells and neuroglial cells together form the nerves. Now, yesterday what we have learned about types of nerve or neurons. So there are three types of neurons: sensory neurons, motor neurons, and association neurons. In sensory neurons, it conducts impulse from sensory organs to the brain and spinal cord. In motor neurons, it conducts impulse from the brain or spinal cord to effector organs like muscles or glands. And association neurons perform the function of integration in the nervous system. Human nervous system is divided into three parts: central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and autonomic nervous system. Yesterday we have learned about central nervous system. Central nervous system consists of a brain and spinal cord. So in which the organization of the brain is extremely delicate and which is highly evolved in this function. The brain is the main controlling part of the nervous system and it is safely located in the cranial cavity. The spinal cord is protected by the vertebral column in the space between the delicate central nervous system and its bony covering are the protective layers between it called meninges, and the cavities present in various parts of the brain are called as ventricles. The ventricles, whereas the long tubular cavity of the spinal cord is called as central canal. The ventricle, central canal, and spaces between meninges are filled with cerebrospinal fluid. This fluid supplies nutrients to the central nervous system and protects it from the shock. And our brain is weighs about 1300 to 1400 grams and approximately contains 100 billion neurons. Left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. All we things we know. We also learn about cerebrum, and medulla oblongata. The largest part is cerebrum, and then the small part at the back is cerebellum, and the elongated triangular part is called as medulla oblongata. With the spinal cord also we have learned while the spinal cord is a part of central nervous system and it is held within the vertebral column. So it is slightly thick but gradually tapers towards the end. So there is a thread-like fibrous structure at the end. It's called as phylum terminally. Now today, peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system and chemical bond. All these three things we are going to learn. So what is peripheral nervous system means? Consists of the nerves originating from the central nervous system. It consists of the nerves originating from the central nervous system. And these nerves connect the central nervous system with all parts of the body. They are of two types. They are of two types. So you can see this. These are the three types of nervous system: central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and autonomic nervous system. Central nervous system at the top with brain and spinal cord. Peripheral at the side. Okay, so these are peripheral nervous system. Now, peripheral nervous system consists of the nerves originating from the central nervous system. You can see easily in the picture. The nerves which are originating from the brain comes under this peripheral nervous system. Easily it can be shown over there with the blue lines. This blue line shows nerve cells and the orange part is our spinal cord and the brain. These are now cranial nerves or spinal nerves. Cranial nerves means what? Nerves originating from the brain are called as cranial nerves and they are associated with the various parts in head, thorax and abdomen. So there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay, so understood, nerves originating from the brain are called as cranial nerves. They are associated with various parts in the head, thorax and abdomen. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. You can easily see in the picture the topmost nearby the brain, the cranial nerves are present which are in 12 pairs, which are of 12 pairs. Okay, and now spinal nerves originating from the spinal cord are called spinal nerves. These are associated with arms, legs, skin and some other parts of the body. And there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. 31. You can see in the picture it is 31 nerves. So cranial nerves and spinal nerves, these are present in the peripheral nerves, cranial nerves. The nerves which are originating from the brain are called cranial nerves. They are associated with various parts in the head, thorax, and abdomen. And there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Spinal nerves originating from the spinal cord are called as spinal nerves. These are associated with arms, legs, and skin, and some other parts of the body. So there are 31 pairs. You can see in the picture. You can take screenshot also where the cranial nerves are present and where the spinal nerves are present. So cranial nerves are of 12 pairs and spinal nerves are of 31 pairs. Now this is autonomic nervous system. Autonomous nervous system means ANS in short we can call and consists of a nerves of involuntary organs. Voluntary means what are involuntary means? Involuntary organs which cannot seen from outside, it is within our body, and they are working continuously over there. So these are involuntary organs: heart, lungs, stomach, right? Then pancreas, liver, then intestine. All these are lungs, है ना? All these are kidneys. These are the involuntary organs. It is not under the control of our will. We cannot control these things because they are continuously um, working over there. So you can see in the picture eyes. So eyes are there. Then we can say about lungs, heart, liver, stomach, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, and all these are certain which are the involuntary actions inside the body, and it is not under our will. Now, reflex action. Reflex action. An immediate and involuntary response given to a stimulus from the environment is called as reflex action. So sometimes we react to an incident without any thinking on our part or control over the reaction. So this is a response given to a certain stimulus from the surrounding. In such situations, proper control and coordination is achieved even without intervention of the brain. So this is reflex action, in which an immediate and involuntary response given to a stimulus from the environment is called a reflex action. Sometimes we react to an incident without any thinking on our part or control over the reaction. This is certain response given to a certain stimulus from the surroundings. In such situations, proper control and coordination is achieved even without the intervention. You can easily see in the picture a hot pot is there, which is heated by burner, which get heated. The exchange of energy takes place over there, and in इनको चुप रहने को बोलो. Sometimes, so you can see that it's by mistake. What will happen if we touch the hotspot? What will happen? We instantly remove our hand. Why this happens? We will see that. You can see in the picture 7 points are given: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what is happening at the 1 and 2? In 1 and 2, heat or heat fan is there, and the pain receptor are there on the skin. We get the burning sensation over there. Then which nerve carried the impulse to the point mark 3? In which direction is it conducting the impulse? These are the sensory neurons. These are the sensory neurons which conduct the impulse over there. And the third question is, which is the nerve shown by fourth? It is relay or neuron. And which is the organ marked as 5? 5, that is CNS, central nervous system, which is included brain and spinal cord. So the spinal cord part it is. Then at 6, which nerve is conducting the response to impulse? Motor neuron. It is motor neuron. And at 7, where has the impulse reached? What is its effect? Effector in muscle in arm. So all these things, when slightly what will happen, we get the heat and it sends the signal or message towards the brain. From the second point, first we'll touch it, second we remove our hand. Why? Because it sends the message towards the central nervous system, and again it sends the message to our muscles to remove our hand instantly. So likewise this happens inside the body. Now chemical bond. What are these chemical bonds? Control and coordination in our body is also brought about with the help of certain chemical substances called as hormones. So these hormones are secreted by endocrine glands. So these glands are called ductless glands. These glands do not have any arrangement of their own to either store or carry their secretion. So hence they do not have any arrangement to carry or store the secretion. It releases its Hence, as soon as hormones are produced, they are directly released into the blood circulation. So, thus, though these endocrine glands are present at specific location in our body, their secretion reached all part of the body via blood. So because they do not have any type of arrangement or bag type things to carry such secretion, so they directly release it inside the blood. So endocrine glands along with the nervous system are responsible for the control and coordination in our body. These two systems help each other to control and integrate the various activities of the body. A marked difference between these two systems is that nerve impulses are fast but shorter lived, whereas the action of hormones is slower but long lasting. That's why we nowadays we can hear these diseases, thyroid problem, diabetes problem. So why this happens? The secretion which is produced by our thyroid gland get increased or decreased. Due to that we will suffer from that thyroid disease. Same for diabetes. If the insulin level inside our body gets decreased or increased, it means that we are diabetic patient. So you can see in the picture in both the male and female, most of the hormones or the glands are same apart from ovary and testes. Hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary gland, thyroid gland and parathyroid gland, thymus, adrenal glands are same. But in woman or female, ovary is present and male testes are present. So all these glands secrete hormones which are required by our body. Now we can see that it is very important that hormones are secreted only in the required quantity, and there is a special mechanism which controls the quantity and timing of hormone secretion. For example, whenever there is an increase in blood glucose level, certain cells in the pancreas get stimulated, and as a response, they release a greater quantity of insulin. That's why patients is suffered by diabetes, which we need to give insulin injections to make it normal. So let us see some glands, their location, hormones, and functions. Glands are hypothalamus, where it is located. It is located above the pituitary gland in the forebrain, and it secretes the hormone which control the activity of secretory cell of the pituitary gland. And the function of this hypothalamus is controls the pituitary gland. It controls the pituitary gland. Now, pituitary gland, it is present at the base. It secretes growth hormone and adrenocorticotropic hormone. Then thyroid stimulating hormone TSH, prolactin, follicle stimulating hormone FSH, luteinizing hormone LH, oxytocin, and antidiuretic hormone. What is the function of this growth hormone? Growth hormone stimulates growth of bones. Adrenocorticotropic hormone secretes adrenal glands. Thyroid stimulating hormone stimulates thyroid gland. Then prolactin stimulates milk production. Follicle stimulating hormone controls growth of gonads. Then luteinizing hormones controls menstrual cycle and ovulation. Oxytocin contracts uterus during parturition. Antidiuretic hormone regulates water level in the body. Thyroid. Anterolateral sides of trachea in neck where thyroxine and calcitonin. Thyroxine controls growth of body and metabolic activities. Calcitonin controls calcium metabolism and calcium level in blood. So parathyroid, 4 glands behind thyroid gland. It secretes parad hormone. It controls metabolism of calcium and phosphorus. Pancreas, it is present behind the stomach. Four types of cells: alpha cells, which are present 20%, beta cells present 70%, delta cells present 5%, PP cells or F cells present 5%. Glucogen, insulin, somatostin, pancreatic polypeptide. Glucogen stimulates liver to control glycogen into glucose. Insulin stimulates liver to control excess blood glucose into glycogen. Somatostatin controls levels of insulin and glucogen. Pancreatic polypeptide controls movements of intestine and thereby glucose absorption, and also controls secretion of pancreatic juice. Now, adrenal gland, anterior end of each kidney, adenine and noradrenaline and corticosteroid. Adrenaline and noradrenaline controls behavior during crisis and emotional situations. It stimulates heart and its conducting tissue and metabolic process. Maintains balance. Corticosteroid maintains balance of sodium and potassium and stimulates metabolism. Now, ovary in female, it is present on either side of the uterus. It secretes estrogen, progesterone, stimulates growth of endometrium, stimulates growth of sexual characteristics in women. Progesterone, it prepares the endometrium for conception and maintains the pregnancy. Testes in female, it located in scrotum. It secretes testosterone and it stimulates growth of secondary sexual characteristics like beard, mustaches, horse voice, etc. in man. Now, thymus in thoracic case near the heart, thymosin, it controls the cell which gives rise to immunity. So, all these are the different glands located at different level, secreting different hormones and their functions. So, these things are there which are connected with the brain. So, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, which consists of cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Cranial nerves originating from the brain are called cranial nerves. They are associated with the various parts in head, thorax, and abdomen. There are of 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Spinal nerves, nerves originating from the spinal cord are called spinal nerves. These are associated with arms, legs, skin, and some other parts of the body. And they are of 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Autonomic nervous system. In this reflex action, we have seen chemical bond, different endocrine glands are there which secrete different hormones, their location and their function. So this is the exercise in which growth of colon tube towards oval. The correct matches chemotrophic movement, growth of shoot system, phototropic movement, growth of root system, gravitotropic movement, growth towards water, hydrotropic movement. So complete the paragraph. The milk was on the stove. Rasika was engrossed watching television. She smelled something burning. She ran towards the kitchen. The milk was boiling over. She held the vessel with her bare hand, but screaming. She let it go at once. This activity was controlled by nerve cells. Special ends of dendrite in this cell collected the information from the cell. Special ends of dendrite in this cell collected the information to the cell body and then towards the terminal end of the axon. The chemical produced at the terminal and passed through the minute space, that is synapse. In this way, impulses were conducted in the body and the process of reflex action as completed by conducting the impulses from the nerve cells to muscle cells. Now, root pressure. We need to write the notes on root pressure. Root pressure means it is a pressure developed in the xylem due to metabolic activity of the root cell. It is hydrostatic pressure developed in the root system that pumps the water or sap in the root xylem. Transpiration is the evaporation of water into the atmosphere from the leaves and stems of plants. Transpiration is the process of water movement through a plant and its evaporation from the aerial parts, especially from leaves, but also from stems and flowers. Nerve cells are there. Nerve cells are also known as neurons. These are the primary building blocks of the nervous system in humans and animals. Its main function is transmitting and receiving electrochemical messages. Then human brain. A human brain is the largest, the developed structure in the anatomy of human beings and are the well-organized organisms. The brain is made up of about 100 billion neurons and it weighs about 1300 grams. Reflex action. Reflex actions are sudden involuntary reactions of the body in response to stimuli. They occur without involvement of the conscious area of the brain, and therefore all reflex actions are unconscious actions. So, um, till today, here we have finished with this lesson, life process in living organisms, and we have learned so many things in that, like transportation in plants, excretion in plants, animals and humans, coordination in plants and animals. About brain in examination, they can ask you to draw a well-labeled diagram of brain. So you need to draw well-label of brain, which is given on the page number 173. You need to show them cerebrum, which is the largest part of our brain and consists of two cerebral hemispheres. Now, these hemispheres are joined with each other with the help of tough fibers and nerve tracts. It occupies two-thirds of the brain, hence it is called as large brain. Its surface has deep, irregular ridges and grooves, which are called convolution. Convolution increases the surface area of the cerebrum, and therefore a large number of cells can be accommodated. Cerebellum, it is a smaller part of the brain which is situated below the cerebrum at the back of the cranial cavity. Its surface shows shallow grooves instead of deep convolution. Medulla oblongata is there. It is the hindmost part of the brain, and there are two triangular swollen structures called pyramids on the upper side of the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata continues downwards as a spinal cord. So till today, uh, we have learned all these things and we'll stop over here.